to be physical defensively, and I thought to start the game we were, and then it kind of tailed off a little bit. But in the second half, our guys were really, really good being physical while trying to guard the basketball, while trying to also keep them off the glass. And, our physicality defensively, this team can score a lot of points, especially in transition, and they move well in the half court. But, to hold a group like this to 94 points speaks a lot about us defensively tonight. You're not going to do this to the Raptors night in and night out. And so our physicality without fouling while getting back in transition was huge for us. They had 2 fast break points in the fourth quarter. We also did a great job getting after 50-50 balls. There were 9 50-50 balls, and we came up with all 9 of them. Our defensive player of the game was Mitch. He took a charge, and he got a 50-50 ball himself, and his minutes were really impactful for the 16 minutes and 46 seconds he was on the floor. But at the end of the day, our team does a fantastic job on the offensive glass. And, for us to have 25 offensive rebounds, Mitch had 7, Josh had 5, and then, all of our guards, Mikal with 2, Deuce with 2, Jalen with 2, and that's beautiful to see, the 25 offensive rebounds for the 22 second chance points. That's who we are, and we have to continue attacking the glass relentlessly so we can get second opportunities, because it turns into points, a lot of points for us.
Mikal specifically did a good job, I think, on Ingram. Just what gave him that success there?
Again, it's hard to. It's guys like Ingram and Scotty Barnes. It's really hard to kind of quote unquote shut them off. And for us, we always talk about it's 5 guys guarding the basketball, and Mikal was at the point of attack against Ingram, and he did a hell of a job. But I thought our shifts were really good. Our weak side was really good, and even our ability to rear view challenge shots at times was pretty good. So Mikal gets a lot of credit, but I thought our team defense, which you need to have against great players like Ingram and Barnes, and quickly, I thought our team defense was pretty good.
What did you like about how the way Deuce started the game tonight?
About who?
Deuce McBride. And over the past few games since he started, since he's kind of taken on this starting role.
Yeah, he just brings a level of physicality to the table that is really irreplaceable when it comes to guarding the ball, especially when it comes to guys that receive a lot of pick and rolls. His ability to get up into the ball and pressure the basketball and get over screens and pick and roll situations while getting back in front of the ball is second to none. I'm not comparing the 2 players, but he reminds me of Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell's one of the best, if not the best, guard that I've seen doing that, and Deuce has similar abilities when it comes to guarding the basketball, especially in the pick and roll, like I said. And then when the guy can shoot, I mean, he's been doing that his whole career here, and our guys did a great job of finding him. We did a great job spacing the floor, and he had a lot of wide open catch and shoot shots to start the game, and he just did what he's more than capable of doing. But he was big for us, throughout the course of the game.
Josh affects the game in so many different ways. You've talked about learning how to use him, better and better. You think in bigger workloads, that impact almost is felt greater.
I'm sorry.
It's felt, in a bigger way.
Yeah.
You think in bigger workloads, can you feel his impact more and more?
Oh, for sure. And I've said this quite a bit. Especially our first 3 losses. I'll take the hit on that. But as we've been around each other, and the tough part was, even back it up further, he didn't really play in the preseason. And he didn't even really practice in the preseason. So for me, I was behind the eight ball, was really trying to figure out how to incorporate him with what we're trying to do. And it just took time, and he was extremely patient with the process. We have a standard, and that's that contract that everybody signed, and it's about sacrifice, connectivity, competitive spirit, but then a belief in each other, but more just as much as that, a belief in the process. And Josh was huge on two of those things. His sacrifice was unbelievable, because when I took him out, he just sat. When I called his number, he went out and played. But more importantly, his belief in the process, even if he thought I was wrong, was awesome. And when you're a leader, you have to show that or embrace those types of things more than everybody else, because you got to set the example. And if somebody steps out of the realm of what our standard is, because you did it as a leader, now you can tell them, hey, come back over here, because we all got to do this. I had to go through it. You may have to go through it. This guy may have to go through it. So he's a special player, but he's also a great human being to be around.
With the workloads in general, obviously some of it is because of injuries, but
Yeah.
the starter minutes have kind of crept into the mid-30s.
Yeah.
To start the year, there were less. How have you seen them adjust to those bigger workloads? And is that what you would have them play ideally, or ideally would it be less?
No, again, if we had our whole roster, again, it'd be less. When you're missing guys, and this is why we try to manage their minutes from Jump Street, because we're going to have injuries, we're going to have tough, tight overtime ball games, and so guys are going to have to play extended minutes from time to time. But you hope more so than not, when you have everybody, you can have the minutes for everybody in the low 30s, and then at the end of the day, it's going to all balance out. And I think eventually going to get guys back, and it will start balancing out a little bit better.